Explaining the Meaning and Purpose of Life, Part 2. How the meaning and purpose of life is beyond love, and explaining the function of consciousness pathways. In an earlier video, I explained that the ultimate purpose of life is to utilize negative and positive experiences in order to develop consciousness pathways to be brought into the afterlife reality. In this video, I'll explain more about such mentioned consciousness pathways. If you have not seen part 1 of the video, do click on the video link in the video description section before watching part 2. In the year 2015, I had a special vision often referred to as an STE, or spiritually transformative experience. I experienced during my sleep state a very real-life environment, where I was standing in front of a door with a large, round, geometric pattern placed around it. The geometric pattern was formed with the pebbles on a white wall, and in that lucid state, I could somehow identify that the pattern was a direct representation of my thought structure. The intricate pattern was formed by individual lines representing individual perspectives that reflect my overall personality. I did not even realize that a person's personality could be directly represented by a geometric pattern, like a form of art. It was so incredible and amazing. Then I immediately transitioned to another part of the house where I saw another door between two glass windows with ornaments placed around it. From outside the window, I saw the rays of bright sunlight was of divine sparkle shining in a vertical angle onto the ground. The ornaments around the door were also arranged as a direct representation of my personality. My dreams never had this kind of clarity and detail. And then the clear vision ended. The entire experience was about 10 seconds, just enough for me to understand what I was seeing. This experience took place before my research in the meaning and purpose of life was completed years later, and I think it contributed to me making the connection that the meaning and purpose of life was related to developing consciousness pathways. I do not think that this experience was a dream or something made up by my mind, as it had clear, direct message previously unknown to me. I also had other clear visions when I was 16 years old, in the year 1997, where I conversed telepathically with a white robe being who showed me red and white cards and told me that I will become the white card in the future. And then I had another experience 15 years later with two robe beings, where one of them transferred tingling energy into my hand, and the other in the year 2003, where I saw my still alive mother feeling happy and wearing flowing rainbow dress. Such visions occur about 5 times in my entire 41 years of human existence. I think I was born with some psychic ability. Not enough to know what people are always thinking, but just enough to know that the afterlife exists. I have seen a shadow being walking across my living room when I was 12 years old. I have chased away 2 types of shadow demons with a spell, and then passed on a spirit showed me how he got killed by a helicopter blade. I know for certain these experiences were real and not hallucinations. Drugs are absolutely banned in my country, and I don't even drink. I am from Singapore, and people in Asia are generally open-minded about spirituality, ghosts, and afterlife. No one would be perceived to be crazy if such themes are mentioned and discussed here. Now, getting back to my experience, I would later name the round geometric pattern that I saw during my incredible vision as the soul geometric pattern, or the soul brain. It is a pattern of consciousness pathways that the soul consciousness can develop in this reality to be brought into the afterlife reality. Perhaps I was shown the pattern of my own soul brain during an STE as a clue or a needed perspective for me to complete my research in the meaning and purpose of life, which perhaps was spirit guides' assistance to help me realize the meaning and purpose of life. However, I did require to gain related necessary perspectives from my human vehicles research and consciousness development before I would take on a further few more years to understand the significance of the soul geometric pattern and what it's all about. So, why is this soul geometric pattern, or the soul brain, so important for the soul to develop in this reality? My research in NDEs, or near-death experiences, has discovered that the soul is naturally unlimited in consciousness, while it is in the spirit realm. However, the disconnection that the soul consciousness experience in this human reality enables it to think and experience a linear timed reality like an individual human being. Such is a vastly different kind of experience for the unlimited soul consciousness. My theory indicates that the soul could superimpose the image of the soul geometric pattern into other smaller realities like Earth in the afterlife, and then be able to properly function in them. An intricate web of consciousness pathways can allow for flexibility and stability in logical thinking consciousness, allowing the soul to think and compare components in reality rather than just simply experiencing them. The soul geometric pattern is beyond the structure of love. What do I mean? Let me explain. Love is just singular directions of consciousness focusing on targets, but the consciousness pathways within the soul geometric pattern goes beyond such singular directions of love. Its intricate patterns of consciousness pathways allows one to focus on negative incompatibilities at the final points, and then do a full reversal towards positive connectivity and compatibility by connecting outwards, which is the ability to rebound from negativity and holds the technique to resolve it. Is such an extraordinary ability not just beyond the simple experience of love? Using love connectivity to develop well-rounded thinking and problem-solving is definitely more valuable than love alone. It is beyond love, which is a straight, direct, do-nothing quality that is not related to resolving negativity. Using the word beyond does not necessarily imply that the consciousness pathways within the soul geometric pattern is better than love, but simply beyond its basic structure and function. The soul geometric pattern represents the connected meanings that the human self has established in its human life. It reflects the connection between components and perspectives, reflecting how components and perspectives have got to do with other components and perspectives. The NDE's relationship to the soul geometric pattern. The near-death experience, or NDE, is about helping a human person establish connectivity or positivity to perceive meanings. It contains a familiar scenery that the human self has greatest connection to, presenting a heavenly environment if it is what the person has the greatest connection to, or present a hellish or an empty, dark, void environment if such is what the person has the greatest connection to. Some people like to retract their consciousness like a black hole, or, even imagine up demons to torment others that they hate. Both positive and negative types of NDEs are actually the constructs of love, if the meaning of love is based on connection. The near-death experience actually reflects the things that the person has the greatest connections to, whether positive or negative. The negative connections reflect the things that the person has the least connections to. Once NDERs have been brought to their realization that their negative dysfunctional connections are really not what they truly fancy, they're assisted to move past such negativity towards developing positive connections so that they can go on to develop the soul geometric pattern or the soul brain. The life review in near-death experiences actually demonstrates the nature of meaning by showing the true hidden connectivity between countless components in a person's life, by showing and emoting how a human self's actions have got to do with other human selves, by using the connecting structure of love to do so. You might ask, why the need for the soul to leave the heavenly spirit realm to experience anything else than a perfect, positive, and paradise soul realm? Well, I think the spirit staying in the spirit realm could get mentally stagnant after a long while. Some souls might like to explore other types of realities and therefore sought out to develop suitable consciousness mechanism in order for them to do so. Think of it like learning a new language to properly function in a foreign language speaking country. The soul could boldly go where no soul has ever gone before. The basic pathways for love are just outward lines, just like the sun rays. Such pathways allows only one to reside in realities that only contain ultimate love, such as the spirit realm. However, pathways that have focal and rebounding points in the soul geometric pattern allow the soul to reside in less perfect realities that are similar to human realities, providing the experience of personal privacy focus, singularity, individuality, diversity, challenges, and interesting new circumstances. The soul consciousness can utilize the consciousness pathways within the soul brain to experience and alter less perfect realities for whatever purpose it could think of. For fun, for challenge, to create different new experiences, etc., etc. The possibilities are endless. Even though the spirit realm has ultimate love, there is a possibility that the soul would desire to seek out different kinds of realities to explore and experience. Why not do so? So how is the soul geometric pattern constructed? I can give you a brief explanation. Consciousness flows in pathways that have to be constructed to guide the direction of consciousness, like railway tracks, water pipes, blood vessels, and the brain's neutral network. We become conscious of something when we inquire the meaning of this something, based on what this something has to do with another thing. By making any such of mental connections throughout our lifetime, we develop much consciousness pathways in our soul brain. Even a computer requires hardware and a software to be functional. Similar for the brain and consciousness requiring many parts for you to be sufficiently aware of this reality. There has got to be something different in your consciousness from the time you were barely aware of this reality as a baby compared to your current awareness right now. Think about the time when you were a baby and you were not able to be conscious of this reality until your consciousness could connect the components of reality to be aware of various meanings present in this reality. For an example, as a baby, you were not able to grasp the meaning and purpose of money, but now you can. And as you grew up, the more you developed your consciousness pathways, the more complicated meanings you could understand. Similarly, the soul would have to develop such consciousness pathways from scratch, using its human self to develop it before you can be conscious of this present reality like you are right now. The human reality is just a mechanism to develop consciousness pathways for the soul to utilize in the afterlife realities. The added requirement for the soul consciousness to be able to focus on negativity and fear and then rebound from it is the main challenge that the human self has to be successful in. Otherwise, it might want to return to the reality to try again to develop a better soul geometric pattern. The life review mentioned in thousands of near-death experiences reflect the soul's judgment of how well its human self has developed its soul geometric pattern, or the soul brain, and the spirit guides emphasizes on a specific work that it has to do by returning to this reality. Negativity givers provide the non-love disconnected negative realities for you to develop focus and challenging opportunities to develop consciousness pathways. Negativity is based on segregation and separation of components, which is the foundation for your focus. Your consciousness is segregated and focus when you encounter segregated negative experiences that are incompatible with your ideal reality, with an accompanying emotion of fear. Positivity is based on a combination and connectivity of components. Your consciousness is connected and expanded when you encounter connected positive experiences that are compatible with your ideal reality, with an accompanying emotion of liberation. Supporters provide the positive reality for you to develop connectivity between and beyond your negative experiences. When negativity and positivity are practiced together, they can be used to develop a focused, fine stream, and well-connected soul geometric pattern. The negative realities present singular and segregated focal points as starting points for you to develop the soul geometric pattern. If such negativities are ignored and you do not develop the pathways from them, such segregated points would appear in your soul geometric pattern as empty or broken grid lines, and also will be reflected in your life review in the way that you did not fully consider the feelings of others by allowing negativity to exist and persist. Because the soul geometric pattern is constructed from scratch in each lifetime based on new perspectives to form new personalities, this dispels the false assumption that people can hold on to their previous personalities from previous lifetimes. In order to develop the soul geometric pattern, perspectives are connected together from scratch. If the soul consciousness does not remember and hold perspectives from its previous incarnations, then it would have not required perspectives to put together its old personalities from previous lives. If we cannot bring perspectives from previous incarnations into this life, We therefore cannot bring previous personalities from previous incarnations into this current lifetime. Therefore, every soul starts with a clean state. Souls do not bring their heavenly personalities from heaven into their human personalities. The soul consciousness is only an observer that reacts to cause and effect and take on the perspectives and personalities found in this human reality. The soul consciousness is not to be blamed for being negative or admired for being positive in this reality. The human selves simply react to cause and effect to play out their individual roles for consciousness developers to develop their soul geometric pattern. These are the reasons why the human character has to be successful to develop a well-complete soul-brain pattern with a single lifetime, or it would have to come back and repeat the process from scratch all over again. The soul is not able to bring forward any accomplishments from its previous lifetimes. However, the higher self-consciousness of human soul consciousness could learn how to better manipulate its future human character's reality in order for its future human soul self to better develop its soul geometric pattern. Some NDERs have said that we as human soul consciousness do not actually do anything, but is a passenger in a vehicle, and the logic in my research has concurred with this statement. The soul geometric pattern or the soul brain is constructed by connecting perspectives to form consciousness pathways, and since such connected perspectives can form a person's personality, the structure of soul geometric pattern does contain and reflect a personality. In a way, how negative restrictions are perceived and dealt with using positive liberation, reflected by how someone would be affected by fear or be empowered by courage. The soul geometric pattern flows consciousness, awareness, and thought processes. It's like the data connections in a computer. It is an independent thinking mechanism for soul for it to think in a very different reality from its heavenly soul realm. I can personally vouch that my well-developed soul brain assisted me to overcome extreme depression and suicide ideation. It could most likely do the same for you and your loved ones. People with poorly developed soul geometric patterns are often very negative and evil. Some of them could be negativity givers, and some of them could be consciousness developers and supporters who have been affected by too much negativity. Similarly, some people only want to experience perfect, pleasant things in reality. They shun away from dealing with negativity. They don't help people and animals. This is fine if they have the role of negativity givers. However, but for those with the role of consciousness developers have to develop their consciousness pathways, or they might want to return to a similar training reality to develop it again. Many near-death experiencers can attest to the fact that they can take their human mentality, mindset, outlook, mental attitude along with their consciousness and out of their human vehicle to a different dimension. It is the best example of how we can develop our mental state in earth reality and take it along with us to the soul realm after reality. Therefore, our consciousness can definitely change and evolve to be utilized for the afterlife. This makes consciousness development a very probable purpose of life that we can fulfill while we are existing in this human reality. My research theory is totally up to you to believe. What is at stake? If you are a consciousness developer and believe and fulfill my stated purpose of life, you might not have to return to this challenging reality again. If you disbelieve and do not fulfill the actual purpose, you might have to reincarnate back to its reality to try again. The training and many types of negative problems in human reality can develop soul geometric patterns for flowing consciousness in less than perfect negative realities. Your physical actions in resolving negative problems can solidify and strengthen consciousness pathways. Such perspectives form a new personality of handling different types of negative realities, as opposed to only one way of reacting to perfect positive experiences. Consciousness developers have to focus on many incompatibilities in this reality, and then they need to rebound and reverse from the focused targets to focus on other targets for implementing the solution. Otherwise, too much consciousness contraction can lead to dangers such as eating disorders, depression, anxiety, mental illness, taking of one's own life, etc. Supporters might be around to assist consciousness developers in this. Negativity givers are often triggered by such problems, while supporters have been well trained by their supporting family and friends to easily overcome such problems. You need to have a high degree of focus in order to develop straight, unwavering, far-reaching consciousness pathways. Otherwise, unfocused consciousness pathways would easily steer off course due to distractions. You have to develop the soul geometric pattern to the required range and fitness. Complex negative problems have the potential to develop wide range and fine soul geometric pattern. This is where I come in to assist you to develop it while training your mental flexibility. Other supporters are also supposed to assist you in your journey. Helping yourself and other people resolve their negative problems is just one of many techniques in my research to develop the soul brain. I currently have 60 over instructions to develop a very stable and resilient soul brain that can easily withstand extreme depression and problematic realities and circumstances, and also can be used to work out solutions to resolve new incompatibilities or negativities. Has many consciousness developers been successfully enough in developing their soul brain to the point of not needing to reincarnate into this reality? There are reported millions of near-death experiencers who have undergone life reviews and found to be lacking their consciousness or awareness of this reality. There are countless old people who become cynical, grumpy, and negative in their old age. Numbers of people suffering from depression has been on the rise, and there are increasing number of young people who find life meaningless and have taken their own lives. If you are successful like I am in developing the soul brain, then you could be one in many of those millions. If you are not, then I am here to assist you to succeed as much as possible. If you want to develop your consciousness pathways on an advanced level, find me. If you want to do it on your own trial and error without expertise in consciousness development, good luck with your attempt. Just bear in mind that this reality is a mechanism for developing consciousness pathways, and you require the necessary perspectives to develop it fully and successfully. Also, bear in mind that time is indeed ticking very quickly. You do not have eternity and automatic access to all needed perspectives in this reality to develop your soul brain. You can contact me for my service at timothyleeconsulting@gmail.com or timothyleeresearch@gmail.com. A last word of advice. Avoid monosodium glutamate consumption, also known as E621, that causes brain excitotoxicity, that kills brain cells, causes weight gain, infertility, myopia, depression, and anxiety, among many other illnesses. MSG can introduce too much consciousness contraction for consciousness developers to develop their soul brain, which is definitely not a good thing. Good luck with your soul journey. I might not return to this reality in my next incarnations, as I might have more interesting things to do in the afterlife reality. So do utilize my current services as much as you can. Even though life contains many unimaginable fears and horrors, and we might question if this is a God-forsaken place and that my theory is not true, the countless life reviews and near-death experiences NDEs constantly show us, without a doubt, that the goal for consciousness developers and supporters is still to develop the consciousness pathways of love, even during such extreme fears and horrors in life. By theory and proper practice, this can develop the most focused and resilient forms of consciousness pathways for the soul than ever before. Way beyond the original level of pathways of love. Just hang in there and do your best. And remember to always call the police for assistance if you encounter any distressing situation, whether in school, at home, while shopping, or in the workplace. In many societies around the world, we are not allowed to take justice into our own hands. The police are meant to assist our physical and mental well-being, but they're heavily underutilized in many countries, contributing to the current excess negativity in the world. In Singapore, we have a Protection from Harassment Act to protect against such negativity and fear, where causing alarm, distress, insult, and intimidation, even in the simplest form of rudeness, involves a maximum penalty of 6 months in jail and a fine of $5,000. This is one of the reasons why Singapore is one of the best and most expensive places to live in the world. Goodbye and take care.